A romantic will they or won't they sitcom and family show rolled into one, The Nanny was one of the biggest television hits of the 1990s. But in 1999, after 6 seasons, the show wrapped and the cast moved on. 25 years later, it's time for a catch-up. Fran Drescher appeared in the cult classics UHF and This Is Spinal Tap before breaking through with The Nanny, which she co-created in 1993. Drescher parlayed her broad comic persona and unforgettable voice and laugh as Fran Fine, a former bridal salon employee with no child-rearing skills or experience who winds up as the live-in caretaker for a wealthy but overwhelmed single dad. The Nanny earned Drescher 2 Emmy nominations and a spot on the television A-list. She starred in and wrote for the sitcom Living with Fran. Then Fox decided to test her ability to host a daytime talk show. The Fran Drescher Talk Show got a 3-week trial run, but unfortunately, poor ratings meant it didn't make the cut. Drescher and ex-husband, actor, and TV writer Peter Mark Jacobson then created the TV land sitcom Happily Divorced, starring Drescher about a married couple who split up after the husband makes a surprise announcement.
I'm gay.
What?
For better or worse, the show was based on their own experience, but while their marriage lasted for 21 years, the show only made it 2 seasons. In 2000, Drescher was diagnosed with uterine cancer following 2 years of doctor's appointments and misdiagnoses. Once she recovered, Drescher published Cancer Schmancer, a memoir meant to raise consciousness about the disease. She also created the Cancer Schmancer Movement, a nonprofit organization with the goal of all women being diagnosed at stage 1, when the disease is most curable.
Learn what the early warning whispers are and the tests that are available, because they may not even be on the menu at the doctor's office.
Then in 2021, Drescher was elected president of SAG-AFTRA, the U.S. Actors Labor Union. In 2023, she led a 4-month work stoppage that brought Hollywood to a standstill and ultimately achieved significant gains for its members. On The Nanny, Fran's comic foil was her employer, the uptight English theater producer, single father of 3, and inevitable love interest, Mr. Maxwell Sheffield. Playing an upper-crust British character wasn't much of a stretch for actor Charles Shaughnessy, who was born into UK nobility and, as of the death of number 4 in 2007, is the 5th Baron Shaughnessy. Nobility notwithstanding, Lord Shaughnessy continued to pursue his American acting career after The Nanny's end. He's appeared in more than 100 movies and TV series, including multi-episode arcs in Mad Men and The Magicians.
Wild magic. Too strong to do with human hands. I'll have to grow another finger.
He also has a thriving voice acting career, lending his posh British accent to cartoons like The Tale of Despero and Pound Puppies. And as if that weren't enough, Shaughnessy is a major soap opera star. Besides recurring on The Bay as Captain Elliot Sanders, he played both Shane and Drew Donovan in more than 1,100 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and spent 2 years on General Hospital playing long-running villain Victor Cassadine until his character was killed off, at least for now. Most sitcoms about rich families feature a sassy butler type quick with a withering put-down, and on The Nanny, that role was filled by a British servant named Niles.
My sister would every once in a while say to me, "You're not acting at all, are you?"
Tasked with making sure everything runs smoothly for Mr. Sheffield and his 3 children, Niles came alive during his frequent and always brutal verbal spar-offs with his boss's business partner, C.C. Babcock. He was also hopelessly in love with her.
What was I thinking? She's only ever going to think of me as just a domestic.
Daniel Davis is a chameleon of a character actor. After the Arkansas-born performer finished playing the uber-respectable Niles in 1999, he played a gaggle of authoritative figures on a variety of television shows. He played a professor on The Good Fight, beamed in as a hologram on Star Trek Picard, played doctors on Elsbeth, Frasier, and Ugly Betty, and was a servant once more on Gotham. After The Nanny, Davis also returned to the New York stage, where he starred in Amadeus during its original Broadway run, and appeared in Broadway productions of The Frogs, The Invention of Love, La Cage aux Folles, Noises Off, and Wrong Mountain, for which he earned a Tony Award nomination as Best Featured Actor in a Play in 2000. C.C. Babcock was generally the hapless patsy or the butt of the joke on The Nanny. Forever pining after her producing partner, Mr. Sheffield, she lobbed insults at Fran Fine, whom she considered socially inferior and utterly outmatched as a romantic rival.
How hard is it to play a pushy broad who runs around half naked with too much makeup on? Have you learned nothing from your mother?
But for every diss she delivered to Fran, Niles gave her 3.
Tell me what you want me to do.
Cluck like a chicken.
Apart from an episode of the short-lived 1999 sitcom Partners and 2 short films shot 18 years apart, actor Lauren Lane left screen acting behind after The Nanny finished its run. She moved to Austin to teach dramatic arts at Texas State University and began acting with a variety of local theater companies. She also teamed up with designer Ben Shepard to create a handbag line. Lane still hangs out with her close friend and former TV nemesis Daniel Davis. Brighton Sheffield, who starts out as a bitter but entitled rich kid feeling lots of difficult feelings after the death of his mother, changes the most of all of the characters in The Nanny, and it's all thanks to Fran.
We both hate you!
Good, then my work here is done.
At first, he's defensive and rude, but that persona slowly dissipates as he grows and learns to accept Fran and treat his family better. Brighton was played by Benjamin Salisbury, who grew up on television over the course of the show's 6-year run. After the show ended, Salisbury acted very little, landing small roles in the films Simone and Red Zone, an episode of Numbers, and a short film called On the Brink. He got married in 2006, and since then, he hasn't worked professionally on screen in any capacity. He did stay in an entertainment-adjacent field, however. Although he and his wife divorced in 2013, he helped raise his 3 children while working as the general director of the Universal Studios Hollywood amusement park. Fran finds gregarious social butterfly tendencies come in handy when it comes to raising the Sheffield kids, particularly teenager Maggie. Shy, unsure, and goofy at first, Maggie sees Fran as a mentor in her quest to become more confident and social. Toward the end of her 6 years playing Maggie Sheffield, Nicholle Tom was cast as Supergirl and Kara Kent in the new Batman adventures, and she would go on to play that dual voice role in numerous DC Comics-based animated projects over the next decade. At the same time, Tom continued to appear in live-action television shows and indie movies. One of her most notable roles was the young reporter Cassie in The Princess Diaries.
She's styling a wet, sort of grunge look hairdo and is wearing a sweatshirt, jeans, and Docs.
She was also a series regular on the short-lived lottery drama Windfall, and co-starred on the boozy, dark Hollywood satire The Minor Accomplishments of Jackie Woodman. Tom continues to pop up as a guest star here and there on network and cable shows. Her last starring role was in Tubi's 2022 romantic drama Prisoner of Love. The youngest of the Sheffield brood, Grace is sweet and innocent, but precocious. She takes to the new nanny immediately, and is way ahead of all of her much older family members in terms of intelligence and vocabulary.
Oh, I just love playing with dolls.
We're not playing.
Huh?
We're in group therapy.
Madeline Zima was just 8 years old when The Nanny premiered and 14 when it wrapped in 1999. She quickly transitioned out of child stardom into more mature projects. After showing up in teen-oriented fares such as Seventh Heaven, Gilmore Girls, and A Cinderella Story, Zima joined the cast of the popular NBC superhero series Heroes in 2009 as the college roommate and secret admirer of cheerleader Claire. Zima also appeared on 4 seasons of the Showtime comedy Californication as Mia Lewis, the underaged and very ill-advised other woman involved with David Duchovny's slimy novelist Hank. Following a run on the Prime Video series Betas, Zima appeared in the Twin Peaks reboot, then briefly played Space Case on the superhero series Doom Patrol. In 2018, she flexed her creative muscles writing and directing the short film Warm Human Magic. Fran Fine pretty much takes over the Sheffield townhouse on The Nanny and has no problem inviting over her obnoxious relatives, including her mother, Sylvia Fine. Prone to meddling in her daughter's affairs and perpetually overreaching, Sylvia delivered plenty of laughs with her constant eating and relentless screeching at Fran to pursue Mr. Sheffield.
My blood sugar drops at high altitude. It's prescription dark chocolate.
By the time Renée Taylor took on the role of Sylvia, she had long been an accomplished actor and writer. With her husband and collaborator Joseph Bologna, Taylor was nominated for a 1971 screenwriting Oscar for Lovers and Other Strangers, and she delivered an indelible performance as Ava Braun in Springtime for Hitler, the play within a movie in The Producers. In 1986, Taylor published a combination comic memoir and self-help book called My Life on a Diet, Confessions of a Hollywood Diet Junkie, which she and Bologna adapted into a one-woman show that opened in New York and then toured the country in 2018.
You're the crazy one, the way you eat only 3 meals a day.
Along with roles in dozens of TV shows, Taylor put her unmistakable voice to work as, among other things, a tortoise in Dr. Dolittle 2, Mrs. Start in Ice Age The Meltdown, and Gloria on Bob's Burgers. Joe Bologna died in 2017, but as of October 2024, the 91-year-old Taylor is still hard at work. Once in a while, The Nanny would experiment with the classic sitcom comedy duo formula. Fran Fine's partner in mayhem was her longtime best friend Val Torriello. Val kept Fran grounded, albeit unintentionally, with her romantic disasters and her hilarious lack of common sense. Rachel Chagall, who played Val throughout the show's run, acted only sporadically outside of the show. Pre-Nanny, she earned a Golden Globe nomination for her 1987 screen debut Gabby, A True Story. Post-Nanny, she guest starred on episodes of Just Shoot Me, Strong Medicine, and What I Like About You, before retiring from acting altogether in 2006. Since then, Chagall's workload has been limited by Guillain-Barré syndrome, an autoimmune condition affecting the nervous system that causes vibrations, weakness, and eventually near or total paralysis. Off-screen, Chagall raised twins with her husband Greg Leonard, who was formerly the stage manager of The Nanny, keeping it all in the family.